Hello everybody, I'm going to shoot my fourth video now. In this video I'm going to talk about if you have an interview, how you're going to prepare for it. So to begin with, it's going to start from your clothing. So what are you going to wear for your interview? And it is personally I'm not the person that will believe like your clothes going to decide what kind of person that you are. Like, do you have those skills in the kitchen? Like I can't measure from your clothes, but it does make an impression. Like when you're working with in the kitchen, like you're gonna work with a lot of different people that you're gonna work with. Like in certain, like in if you work in a hotel, that you're gonna have like really high end clients. How you're gonna present yourself? Like if so, I I'm like for the cook interview, like you don't have to wear a suit or tie or like really formal. You could wear a business casual clothes. It means just a shirt, a plain pant, a formal shoes. That could work. And also the main part to know your interviewer is it an HR manager or is it a chef or somebody else from the kitchen, a food service manager, nutrition manager, or anybody like from the kitchen, like could be a sous chef or somebody like a chef de partie or like anybody that who's in charge for the kitchen. And so because the question would be really different, like HR, what do you ask? Like the question they have, like written question they have from the kitchen, like they're gonna ask you about temperature. It would be I think it's the question would be really limited to a one point. Like it won't go really vast out of like they will like the HR wouldn't have that much knowledge about the kitchen. They would have like a lot of knowledge about labor laws and blah blah blah, but not about the kitchen. So they can ask you only question about temperature, like storage, behavioral question, and yeah, some more questions, but not be as vast you could expect from if you're interviewing with a chef. So you have to prepare accordingly, because in certain interviews, I had an interview with chefs. They asked me questions about like mother sauces, like what is bechamel sauces, how are you gonna prepare it, what is the composition for a roux is. So just play like that's pretty basic. I think that if the chef's majorly gonna ask you about the sauces and how are you gonna deal with, like if you have this order, how are you gonna prepare it. So don't be nervous about it. If you have like a little bit of knowledge of the kitchen, you would already know those questions, how to answer them. And if you're somebody who doesn't have any knowledge, I think the best thing you could do is just read a cooking book. I have a cooking book in here. It's heavy. This is in Canada that we most of colleges do use. So it is a really heavy book. You don't have to read it all. Just read the main part like food sanitation, a little bit about sauces. You don't have to go really deep if you're interviewing for like a small cafeteria at hospital. You don't have to read this whole thing. You have to just read only part from sanitation part. And I think I jumped straight into the questions, but I think the next part would be like how the interview are being conducted when you interviewing for a cook position. Usually, the interview could happen at a cafeteria bench. It could happen online on a Zoom call, or it could happen back of the kitchen. Or I did an interview even sitting at the park outside of the kitchen. So be prepared for it. Like some people get really nervous seeing people around them. Like when you're interviewing in a cafeteria, a busy cafeteria, and like one table there, you're being interviewed. So be prepared yourself for that. I think if you're confident enough, you could crack interview easily. If you have really confident, I think personally, if even you give like certain answer wrong, you still could get selected. So the main thing is confidence. I rate highly on confidence. Knowledge is also the best thing to crack interview, but you have to have a combination of both. So you have to be confident enough to give all the answers and present yourself really nicely, and then I think we're gonna move to question rounds. the question would start, tell me about yourself. So you start with your name, like my name is Hardeep, I studied this course at this college, and I have these certification. I have a experience working in a restaurant, I have experience working in a hospital, I have experience working in a long-term home, anything that you have in regards of the kitchen, or in regards even like if you work at a dishwasher, you could say that like it's not gonna affect you negatively, because most of chefs that I know also started some point from dishwasher. They've been worked as an expediter or something, like, so they can relate to you, like, oh, you work as a dishwasher, you might have helped the, so you might have learned good nice skills, because some most of restaurants make even dishwasher cut some veggies sometimes, they do some prep work. So yeah, so then would be that's would be your introduction, and they're gonna move forward with a question about like food safety, question about sauces, like what kind of sauces are you guys usually like what are the different sauces, like you have tomato, you have velouté, you have uh, a brown sauce, a brown stock, like stocks, there could be also stocks and a lot of different stuff in there, but that could you expect from chef. But if you're interviewing with HR, I never ever got those questions. Then the HR question would be based on like how you're gonna store food, what would be the temperatures for, what would be temperature for the fully cooked a whole chicken, what is the temperature for chicken pieces. So these kind of questions that you get from HR. But for chefs it's a broad range, they could ask you anything. And the other questions that are there would be behavioral question, that would be based on situation. If you seeing your coworker doing something, or how you gonna deal with that issue. uh, so I think always say that you're gonna approach the person really calmly, telling what they're doing wrong, how they could improve. And if the person continues to doing those things that are wrong, then you could like talk to your supervisor and let them know for about the situation. And and how would you, like, if you see something dangerous, how you gonna like address that issue? You just like, if it's in my like capacity to deal with that issue, like assume that you see a broken glass on the floor, that you could sweep it, put it in its right place. But if you've seen a big, like there's a fault in a machine, so you're gonna say that you're gonna like put a lockout tag on it and put an information whatever that goes on the lockout tag, and then you're gonna inform your supervisor that like it needed service or it needed maintenance or whatever it needed. And the other question that you would see, I think I had about like meeting deadlines. I think I have like all these questions from even from HR, even from chefs. Like assume that you have a tight deadline, how you gonna meet it? And assume you have a busy day, you're working and somebody calls sick, how you gonna deal with that situation? So only the answer that I gave is like action plan, having writing down action plan. If I'm working by myself, so write down all the tasks that I have to finish and what time I have to finish. I write it down. So the tasks that take majority of time, I'm gonna put it at the top. Then I'm gonna go the task that I could do on the side, like the tasks that require supervision, I would put it them at top. Like if I have to make like a caramel sauce, I have to be standing over the like around the caramel sauce so that it doesn't burn. So these kind of things you have to keep in mind, and arrive early to make sure that, because most of the interview if it's at location, at their business location, or like if it's like a big corporate building, you might gonna take it might take you a long time to find where the office is. And even the restaurant, sometimes it take a long time for you to find the restaurant. Is a restaurant like on which street it is. So always arrive early at the location where you're interviewing. And if your interview is online, make sure that you log in early, figure it out, like everything, like if your mic is working, your video is working. Yeah. And I'm trying to improve like a little bit in every single video that I make moving forward. So I really like your comments. If you throw a comment and a like, that would be really appreciated. I will see you the next video, and drop any question that you want from me or any video that you want me to make next. Thank you.